this is just something that is not going away for the Labour Party.
Exactly, and the thing is, it could have gone away, right? If Angela Rayner was so confident she'd done nothing wrong and had this watertight legal advice, she'd have published this on day one. Then it would have gone away. It would have been a non-story. I mean, I know she was saying, I'll show you yours if you show me mine to members of the government in terms of their legal advice, but why not do that? Why not say, here's mine? Now, come on, I've called you guys out. The fact that she hasn't done this has allowed this to rumble and rumble and rumble. And when something rumbles on, what you generally get is you get people who aren't even that into politics start hearing about it. And what you get is the kind of a tone is set, an image is set, and then it sort of becomes, regardless of almost whether you did anything wrong or not, there becomes this notion that you at least tried to do something wrong, or you were deceptive, or you weren't anything other than completely honest. And I think that's a problem for someone like Angela Rayner, who has been used by the Labour Party because of her background as a kind of authentic voice of the working class to attack particularly Boris Johnson over Partygate and matters of that ilk. So I think this is a huge problem for not just the substance of what's happened, but also the way it's been handled by the Labour Party.
Well, yes, I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. However, the fact she's come out and said, if it's found that I've done anything wrong, well, in a criminal sense, we have to clarify, I will go, which would imply at least that she's got a lot of confidence that she really hasn't done anything wrong.
Yes, and you just heard the clip there from Keir Starmer. He was pretty robust, wasn't he, saying he's very confident she's done nothing wrong. I don't think people would be coming out and saying that if they weren't absolutely sure. There's sort of two issues at play, isn't there? There's the capital gains tax issue, and then there's was she registered to vote at the wrong address? I think the second of those issues, I think due to the time that's passed, I'm not sure there'll be any action in that regard. The capital gains tax, it might be that they say that, she has to pay the money and she'll write the check and she'll say, look, I'm happy to do this because, this is the right thing to do. And then she'll point to, Tories or people who support the Tories who perhaps haven't paid their fair share of tax. But by putting it in such a term of if I've done anything wrong, I have to step down. I mean, you have to think that's some pretty watertight advice she's been given.
How do you think this is going down in Labour HQ? Because we hear there from Keir Starmer throwing his support behind Angela Rayner, but it did take him a number of hours to come out with that support yesterday. And meanwhile, you had London Mayor Labour Sadiq Khan coming out within minutes and talking about Angela Rayner as his best friend. Do you think that delay suggests that perhaps this isn't going down quite so well in Labour HQ and they are worried about this?
I'm sure Labour HQ are furious. You've got Rachel Reeves, the Shadow Chancellor, who's made the centre point of Labour's economic plans going into the election about clamping down on people who, on tax loopholes. That's where she's trying to find the money that the Tories have sort of taken away from changing the rules around non-doms. So Labour are trying to fight this battle over how people should pay their taxes. And if you've got your deputy leader who there's questions around, then it makes it very, very difficult because every press conference is going to be, OK, well, I've had this conversation with the deputy leader about making sure the right tax is paid. We know that Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner are not bosom buddies. So maybe that's why Keir Starmer hasn't come out full throttle earlier on. But now he's come out and he's really nailed himself to this, he nailed his colours to the mast on this one, that he believes that she's done nothing wrong. He's very, very confident. Although I did notice in one of the interviews, he said, I'm confident in the answers that Angela Rayner has given me, which does give him a slight little bit of wiggle room there. Just saying, look, if she has done what she's told me she's done, there's no problem. If she hasn't, then of course there is a problem.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's understandable to give himself a little bit of wiggle room on that. It begs the question, though, if this had been anyone else in the cabinet, the shadow cabinet, would they have been persuaded to step down, take a back seat or whatever? I mean, the issue with Angela Rayner is, they say they might not be bosom buddies, might not get along with her that well in a sense, but she's the one person he can't get rid of.
Yes, I mean, due to the rules around the Labour Party, she's voted in as deputy leader. She has her own sort of backing in that regard. The relationship between Rayner and Starmer is very reminiscent of Blair and Prescott. You've had Tony Blair as this lawyer, this figure who was perhaps not of the Labour movement instinctively. And then you had John Prescott there, who could be the voice of the North, of the working class. And that's very much the role that Angela Rayner bits, and it's a formula that has proved to work. He got New Labour into power, so I think that Keir Starmer understands why he needs Angela Rayner there, because she can communicate in ways which perhaps other members of the shadow cabinet and Keir Starmer himself can't. So there is a thing about, there's a slight sort of Roy Keane element to this, that you love a person like this on your team, but every now and then you accept they're going to pick up a yellow card or two.
Oh, well, perhaps Keir Starmer should have come out with a Angela will be Angela line, which is what Tony Blair always said about John Prescott, isn't it? Well, John will be John, and accept it for that. So it's not going to wash with this, is it?
No. Well, it's not going anywhere, is it? Owen Bennett, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much indeed.